Okay, Creative Crunch, welcome. Tonight's topic, why you're not a success yet. And so this is one that's plays out for lots of people, including myself. Why am I not a success? Right? Why aren't I successful at what I'm doing? Why aren't you successful at what you're doing? I bet you ask yourself that all the time. And even though I admitted that I ask it, I don't know if it's very helpful. So let's firstly define what success is, right? And so Earl Nightingale says success is the realization of a worthy ideal. Just let me know if you can hear, by the way. And so success is the realization of a worthy ideal. The progressive realization. That's the important bit, right? The word progressive. Say it again and I'll get it right. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Right? So we have this vision, right? There's this vision of what we want. That's the ideal. Right? Success is the progressive realization. Okay? So we're moving towards it. Right? However, it's not this piece here on the horizon that is the success. Right? It's the progressive steps. So if we're progressing, there's success. Okay? So I'm going to say that again because we really need to try and get this into our cognitive process, is that if we're progressing, that is success. Okay? It might not be the success that we're seeking because we have a filter on, right? Which, if my coach Shani's watching, she knows about how I have my own filters there. And we start to believe that we're not successful because we're not at the horizon, right? Have you ever tried to reach the horizon? Doesn't happen. So feel free to write any insights in the comments if any come up for you. Yeah, so have you ever tried to reach the horizon? It's not possible, right? It just keeps getting further and further. And so the worthy ideal, the vision, is here. And we're going to talk about why it keeps moving, right? So no matter where you go from, the horizon keeps getting further away, right? I remember thinking about when I was on a cruise ship, playing music on a cruise ship, right? We never reached the horizon. Beautiful sunsets, beautiful sunrises, beautiful days, never reached the horizon. Okay. So success is a bit like that. We think that it's this place, right? But success is the progress, right? So give yourself credit for progressing. I need to remind myself to give myself credit for progressing too. Right? I'm brutal on myself sometimes about not being successful, right? Whereas the truth is there's a lot of success there. And yes, I might have a vision which helps me to continue to evolve. But success is a destination that we don't get to. And I'm going to explain a bit more about that. So Ray Edwards was the one who I heard say that success is like getting to the horizon. Do you ever get to the horizon? Right? Now, one of the reasons we don't feel successful is because we can't see how far we've come. Okay? We're in this moment, right? And we might have beliefs, experiences from the past that come with us. But what happens is our mind forgets. It forgets what we've done. It forgets what level we used to be at. And so, this Shani Taylor taught me this one, which is that I'm using it a bit differently to her, but this is my current awareness, and this is what I believe is possible, right? And when I progress, so my awareness progresses, or let's say, for example, it's guitar playing, right? Or painting. As my painting progresses, my awareness of what makes good paintings progresses, right? So they don't match up. And so this is like imposter syndrome can come in too, right? Because I'm aware that this is possible and I feel like I'm operating from here, I can feel like I'm not a success, right? So in the case of singing, right? As my singing progresses, I get better at holding notes, get better at the breath techniques, but get better at visualizations, get better at the different vocalizations. That improves, but then my awareness of what's possible. Oh, actually, I want to learn vibrato. And so the judgment comes in that I'm not where I want to be yet. Is this making sense? Please feel free to let me know. And the so one is we have this place where we're aware, and then there's this place where we're aware of the potential. So this is where we perceive we are. And then when we move forward, we forget that we've come from back here because all we can see is here. Hi, Katie. Beautiful to see you. Thank you. Yeah. And yeah, those wings, hey? And so it's like they never match up, right? And so that's one of the reasons we don't feel like it's success. And I'm going to show you a few strategies about what we can do to try and reconnect with how far we've come, acknowledging what we've done in the past. The wings. And let's have a look. So, you know, and I'll be really honest, like the last few weeks, I've been feeling like this about my coaching, right? That it's not successful. And it's not true, as Shani would tell me, right? It's not true. But if I use that gauge that success is progress, right, that changes everything. So instead of success being the horizon, success is just moving towards the horizon. And if I'm doing that, it's beautiful. Sorry, Shani. White markers. Yeah. Chasing whiteboard markers. I like it. And so, lost my place. I'll come back to you. So I'm moving forward, right? And I've been feeling like that with my coaching, right? I'm like, it's not where I want it to be. This isn't happening or that's not happening. And I'm fucking forgetting that I've come from here to here. And so I just keep, my expectations of myself and my perceptions of what possible moves forward, which evolutionary wise is amazing, right? It's one of the ways that human species has survived in not being satisfied. Okay, if we're not satisfied, and this comes from Mark Manson's book, Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Sorry, Mum, if you're listening. I know you'll be going like this. And from Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, he says that the human species has had to be dissatisfied to ensure that the species survives. Because then we just create better tools, we create better houses, we create better vehicles, better ways of hunting, etc. Hi, Mandy. And Mark also talks about this idea about a shit sandwich, which I'll tell you another time, but well worth a read, that book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Mum's crossed herself 3 times as I've said it. Okay. And so, one of the strategies you can do is reflect on the past, right? Reflect where you used to be and where you are now, okay? And now I've just written a songwriting workshop, which actually I'll share the link in the chat, and I'll talk more about that later, but I've got a songwriting workshop coming out soon, which is an online songwriting workshop. And when I was writing the workshop, I had to reflect on what I'd done in the past. And I remembered, what are we going back now? Over 10 years ago, right? Winning awards, being in amazing bands, playing with some of my absolute idols, which I never expected, going to playing at festivals, recording in amazing recording studios, film clips, radio interviews, radio play in Europe, all these things that I forgot about. Right? So one of the strategies sometimes that you can do, go back and find your milestones, right? Go back and say, I used to be here. What did I do then? What did I do here? What did I do then? Writing's always good, right? Or you can draw it even if you're an artist and you like drawing, and if you're not an artist but you like drawing, do it anyway. Okay. All right. So the key thing is that your awareness changes because you forget about the past. And yes, it's amazing to be in the present, but sometimes we think we're in the present, but our perspective is skewed. So reflecting on what you've done, these milestones in the past, can help bring you into greater appreciation for your success. Okay. Another little trick that I like is thinking what a previous version of me would think of me now. And so the coach that I was 12 months ago, what would I think of myself right now? Because the last few weeks I've been beating myself up, right? But the coach 12 months ago would be so proud of me, would be so proud of how I'm putting myself out here and helping people, and the quality of my sessions, and the people that I'm working with. Like that version of me 12 months ago would be so proud. And there's versions of you that would be so proud of what you're achieving right now. And I'd say, yeah, maybe it's a good activity to go back and think about what the 15-year-old version of you who just started out, or the 30-year-old version of you who just started out, or who'd been going for 10 years would think of you now. And there's, there'll be some skeletons in there too, right? Because that version of you might also go, I'm proud of what I did here, but I could be doing better with this, right? So it can also be a feedback, right? A little bit of a feedback loop about what to do next. Right, so that's the previous version of you, right? The next thing that you can do, so this is the third activity that you could do, and I know a lot of you won't do this, right? You'll be like, oh, that's a good idea, but you won't do it. But I encourage you to go do it, and I'm going to summarize them at the end to remind you, so feel free to write them down. The third thing you can do is using your previous version of yourself, write to yourself. Right? So grab a journal and write from the perspective of that younger version of you, right? So for example, if I chose, let's say, because I've been singing for about 5 years now, right? Let's choose that version of me 5 years ago, and I'd be like, Dear Ash, I can't believe how you sing now, right? I thought I was going to be so shit and thought no one would ever want to listen to me. And so keep writing from that version of me 5 years ago to help get in my perspective about how I sing now. Right? So yeah, it's a good one. I can feel myself getting emotional, right? Just talking about it. Okay, so we've talked about the awareness with the pens. We've talked about asking your former version of yourself what they would think, right? And we've talked about writing down your milestones from the past, like your achievements. And yeah, there's lots of unexpected things, like, with the lamplights, I never expected what happened. And, even here we are, Ryan and I, the Brothers Calling, it's like, wow, it's really amazing music and beautiful people that we've connected with. So, quick chat. So the Songwriting Workshop, right? The idea of the Songwriting Workshop is so that you can write songs that connect to people more deeply, right? And I am excited about offering this because I haven't done a songwriting workshop as a facilitator for about 10 years. And the idea is that when you learn how to communicate to listeners in the way they want to be communicated to, you'll get more people listening to your songs, you'll get more streams, you'll get more people coming to your shows, you'll get more gigs, you'll get more weddings, you'll have, we've had people come up to me and say, played your song at my wedding. We danced to it at our wedding. It's like, wow, I never expected that. And, what happened for me with my experience was that had a certain level of musical ability, and, people were interested. But then when I did some songwriting professional development, it just took it to the next level. And that's when the awards came, right? There's like 3 Australian Songwriting Awards, a Q Music Award, an international songwriting award, which is like, 25,000 entries. And I never expected those things, but it was learning how to communicate in the way that the listener will respond. And so it's a 2 hour workshop online. Early bird finishes Monday evening, and be great to have you there. So the link's in the chat, and yeah, if you're a songwriter, you're more than welcome to come. It'd be lovely to have you there. So and I really back myself on this songwriting workshop. It's like, if you don't think it's amazing, you can have your money back and give me feedback. I'd love it. I'm grateful to get your feedback if you don't think it's amazing, because it'll make the next one better. All right, success. So just checking the time there. Okay. Success. It's the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Okay. And that comes from Earl Nightingale, that quote. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So success is taking the steps. It's not the end point. Okay? It's going, actually, I took this step today. In the last hour, I did this. I might not have what is at the end of the rainbow, right? Never get to the end of the rainbow. But success is moving towards it. Okay? So go easy on yourself. And, be gentle with yourself. It's like, that heart of yours, it's needs to be taken care of so you can do the important work that you're doing. And this is a tool. It's not in charge of this. So, yeah. All right. The other things to remember is awareness. So we're coming back to our markers. Was it this way or this way? I think it was this way. Right. As we progress, our understanding of what's possible progresses. And so we can be in this place where we feel in deficit. Whereas this version of us wasn't even here, right? We're actually now surpassed where we thought we would be. Another strategy for perceiving your success: spend time with the past self, right? Tap into the quantum web, right? Because that version of you is out there ready to communicate to you, and it's also ready to listen to you. I haven't said this, but you can send help back to your past self, right? I remember a time in my life it was really, really challenging. And for some reason, I kept having this thing in my head: pursue natural health, find natural health, do natural health. So now, when I think of that version of me that had all those health issues, I send that message back to my past self. So it's like, find natural health. You'll get through this. Find natural health. So you can send that back to your past self about your creativity or your relationships or anything that you're struggling with. What you know now, you can send back, and that past self can hear. So I know it might be a bit woo-woo for people, but in my experience, it's amazing. So tap into the past self. Little bonus one there: send your past self messages from your present self. And milestones. Go back and write out your milestones. Right? Don't believe that bullshit that's floating around. And I'm talking to myself too right now. Yeah. Don't believe the bullshit. So, success. You're already a success. Right? You're just not seeing it with the right filter. I'm already a success, and I'm just not seeing it with the right filter sometimes. So, and luckily I have an amazing coach that helps me. And she gave me an amazing session this week for me to be able to see it. And without her doing that, I wouldn't be doing this session for you right now. So thank you, Shani Taylor. Yeah, it's amazing what you're doing with me. So thank you. And for you guys, if you'd like to work one-on-one with me, reach out. If you'd like to come to the Songwriting Workshop, early bird finishes Monday night. I suggest you get on there and come along. If you don't find it's worth your while, I'll give you your money back. And I think it, even for experienced songwriters, it'll make a difference. So sending my love. Thanks so much for coming to Creative Crunch. And yeah. Oh, actually, playing at Buskers by the Lake, Sunshine Coast this weekend with Katie who was just on the comments then. And yeah, I'd love to see you. I'm going to put up some posts about when and where I'm playing. So, all right. Lots of love. See you, everybody.